Welcome, guys. Episode 2 here of Two Guys in a Fire Pit. I'm your host, Gregory Turner. I got my buddy here, Eddie Murray, and let's talk some football.
That wasn't much of a football game.
Last week I was sitting here telling y'all go Dogs, but I don't know tonight. They didn't look the same. It's Friday night. 7:45. We got some good fire pit going right here. But them Dogs, they just didn't look the same today.
No, they didn't, Gregory. I'm just dumbfounded, honestly. The offense has looked spectacular, and they didn't show up. They tried to run the ball a little too much with Gunner. I think our passing game was off, and I know we had some injuries on the offensive line, and it happens, but it just looked so out of sorts and disjointed. It didn't look like a cohesive unit.
Last week it looked like we had a whole lot better team. We were playing Charlotte, but it looked so much better because we was putting up so many rushing yards.
Yeah.
I was frustrated with the fact they didn't utilize Gunner the way that I expected them to. Being the star that he's been all season. But then here we go. We show up against Georgia Tech, which is a quality opponent, rivalry game.
Yeah, rivalry game.
To be honest, it's to hell with Tech. But they still didn't utilize Gunner tonight. Every time he had an opportunity, he took it and run.
Yeah, it was just, like I said, disjointed. It felt off the whole game. And I think a lot of that had to do with the play calling. I've not been the biggest Bobo supporter. And, I wanted to change my tune after the last 3 or 4 weeks. He's been calling some great plays, but tonight was definitely not a masterclass in offensive play calling.
It just seems so conservative to me, and I don't understand why or what the need was to be so conservative.
Even a conservative game plan, you would think it would have some continuity. It was just run left, run right, run up the middle. There was no creativity. There was no fire in that team. And hey, it's a rivalry game. I get it. But man, it just was disappointing as a fan. I'm glad we won. Let's just say that. I'm glad we won. We're in a position to get into the postseason. I don't really care if we play an SEC championship game. Would I like an SEC championship game appearance and title? Yes. That'd be great. But at the same time,
I'd love it against Texas A&M. I don't know if I'd love it against Alabama. Well, that's our kryptonite.
It's going to be Bama, because the only way we're getting in is if A&M loses. I guess if Alabama loses to Auburn, which, that's a tough, tall ask there.
I don't see that one happening this year.
Golly, that'd be tough. But, stranger things have happened. It's the SEC. So, there's another game on tonight. There's some more games tomorrow. It's rivalry week. And, rival games are always closer than they should be. I'm a little disappointed in our Dogs.
Yeah, me too. But I hate to just keep harping on them Dogs. We got an awesome slate of games ahead tomorrow. Let's talk about those for a minute. One off the top of my head, it's not the SEC, Michigan, Ohio State.
The game, as they call it.
It's been a long time. It's been 4 years in a row that Ohio State's lost to Michigan. I still not am sold on Ohio State, but I think they're a lot better than Michigan is.
Yeah, I want to say it's at Michigan, so that might be in Michigan's favor. Do I want Michigan to win? If there was a way both teams could lose, I'd be happy as a pig in slop.
100%. I can't stand either one of them.
I don't know how that's going to play out.
Michigan shouldn't even have a football team after that whole cheating scandal they went through.
Yeah, well, money talks, and you know what walks. So, but then again, this game has playoff implications. It has seeding implications, and it is one of the better rivalries. I can remember when I was a kid watching Ohio State, Michigan when Schembechler was there, and he put a lot into that. So,
and after that, I'm not sure what kind of massive rivalry games at the 3:30 slot, but tomorrow night, that Auburn-Alabama game, that's going to be
it's going to be an absolute war. It always is. You know, the Iron Bowl is one of those games where a lot of tradition, a lot of history.
I mean, the kick six. I mean, literally, like the miracle at Jordan Hare. I mean, who would have ever thought?
That was Georgia Auburn, but still, same kind of situation.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this: way back in I want to say it was in the '60s or '70s, and you can fact check me on that if you want to, chat. But I will say this: punt, Bama, punt. If you don't know what that is, go look it up. But Auburn had absolutely no offense in that game. Didn't move the ball at all. Didn't score any points. The only way they scored the points was punt blocks. They blocked Alabama 3 different times and scored 3 touchdowns. Lost the game because of it. Yeah. So it is what it is. It's one of those things where you just got to do what you got to do.
And, you know, we're getting to the point now where we're starting to wind down the football season, the college football season, and we're transitioning into other sports and all that. But, man, there's nothing like rivalry week.
It's awesome.
I mean, there's nothing like it. I mean, at times I found myself sitting here watching that Georgia game. I was honestly a little bored because I was like, I just didn't understand how we could be that much of a better team without scoring points than what we did. And I think that's what a lot of teams are feeling this week with the rivalry game.
Yeah.
Outside of the Egg Bowl earlier today, because Ole Miss just absolutely 10-ring Mississippi State.
Well, that was a talent disparaging thing there. So yeah.
And with that, I mean, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen with Lane Kiffin?
I think he's going to LSU. You know.
I mean, it's hard to deny the rumors that they've offered him $90 million for 7 years. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's the highest paid college football coach.
That's generational wealth, life-changing money. I will say this though: if he does go to LSU, who takes the Ole Miss job?
And see, that's a good question, because it's like, who else is there left to offer that's got any decency to it?
I mean,
because in today's time, with that NIL and the money and all that, you got to prove yourself.
100%.
And right now, there is absolutely nobody in the country that has proven themselves to be efficient in the NIL and the portal and recruiting as Ole Miss, Kirby. I mean, whether you want to admit it or not, Kalen DeBoer. I think Alabama's definitely on the downhill swing, but I mean that's the best of the best right there.
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna say Ryan Day because nobody cares about Ohio State.
Well, let me say this too. Beside the fact Ohio State has an unlimited bank account, it seems. But I read something earlier this week on the Dog Vent. Shout out UGA Sports. That Kalen DeBoer may be going to Penn State.
I don't see it happening.
There is a lot of fire.
That job at Ole Miss, I mean at Alabama, is just too sweet. I don't foresee that happening.
I think it's more of a pressure from the Alabama faithful.
It's probably pressure from Saban himself.
It could be. You never know. You've seen all those TikToks.
You know, Saban's like, by God, I'm going to eat my oatmeal cream pies before I have to deal with you, you know, because I'm getting cranky.
Yeah, well, I don't think, you know.
Until you play Georgia, and then it's all of a sudden that's the best team in the world.
You will know soon enough. But if he loses to Auburn, that's a big if. You know, if's the biggest word in the English language. If he loses to Auburn, they may run him out of town.
Yeah.
To Penn State.
Yeah, what was that lady that I don't even remember what school she was at, but just talking about winning the lottery, talking about let me win this big old Mega Millions so I can get so and so out the door right here. I'll pay his buyout.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
You know, with all that being said, though, we do want to transition and try to talk about some serious things going on around us right now, and I know, Eddie, you're a lot bigger adversary or advocate for this, not adversary, advocate for it than I am. But one of the things that I've been noticing going on in our area, especially here lately in social media, is these solar farms coming out and buying land from the average Joe, the local farmers.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, they're tearing apart the land to build these massive solar farms. And me being an environmentalist, an environmental science teacher, biology teacher, um, I have a little bit more, I ain't gonna say knowledge than the average person, but I have a little bit more knowledge on the benefits and the pros and cons, I guess you would say, to the solar panels. And if used in the right way, the solar panels are beneficial to the consumer.
Oh, 100.
But the problem is, in our areas, we have these conglomerates basically coming in, buying all the land, building these solar panel farms, destroying the forest ecosystems and all of that. And none of that money is ever going back to the consumer. The REMCs are buying this energy at a cheaper rate, but still charging the consumer the same amount as they normally would. And then when you sit down and you analyze all of it, these solar panels have a lifespan. I ain't knowledgeable in the exact lifespan of them, but what I do know is you don't have any proper way of disposing of these that they don't harm the environment, even more so than what they do to save the environment.
Alternative energy is one of those things that I think we jumped on board as a country to try to combat fossil fuels.
Alternative energy is a great idea.
It is.
You just got to do it in the right way.
Yeah, and that comes with planning and time and studies. But my biggest gripe, I guess you'd say, with the solar panel farms is environmentally, to start with, it's changing the ecosystem.
100%.
It changes the way water, the most basic element of human and animal survival, it changes the way water flows. It changes the moisture level in the ground. It changes the way trees grow. It can affect oxygen formation and carbon dioxide dissipation. The chemicals they put in the ground to stop the water table from rising. How long does that last? What kind of irreparable functions does it do at the end? Like you said, these things have a lifespan. How do they affect everything else around them? Is not something that has a positive in my eyes. Now, am I a scientist? No, far from it. I'm just an old IT guy. But I do realize what technology can do, and a lot of times we push it forward faster for the sake of using it than we know the long-term and reaching effects that it can have.
And what people don't understand is when you're talking about alternative energy, the answer is not electric cars or solar panels or windmills. The answer is you got to plant more trees.
It's all that.
People don't understand that amount of carbon dioxide to oxygen conversion through photosynthesis that takes place in the first 10 to 15 years of a tree or a plant's lifespan. We're all about saving the environment, reversing the effects of global warming, changing or getting rid of climate change. But like the people that need to sit down and actually pay attention to it, they're not paying attention in the right way. They're not following simple science to understand that my pine forest, my 50 acres or 100 acres of pine forest is producing way more oxygen and eliminating so much carbon dioxide that they kind of get lost. They sit there and say, "Oh, solar panel is the right way," or "Solar energy is the right way." It is if you use it in the right way. Put it on top of your house.
Yeah.
Use that as a way to lower your electricity bill personally.
Yes.
Or, in larger cities, green roofs. People are planting gardens on top of these skyscrapers.
Yeah.
In New York City, in Atlanta, in Jacksonville, in all of these major areas as ways to help. But you got to understand what's right and what's not.
And the one thing that I can say I've got people that I know that are fighting it in local communities around here. It's not only ecologically shady, it's who and how and what's going on behind closed doors. The way that these solar farms are all of a sudden appearing in certain counties and certain areas of the country. You look at not just them buying, let's say, 1,000 acres to put the solar farms on, they're also buying the area around them in a way that it's legal, but it's very, very shady. And so you go from 1,000 acres to all of a sudden they have 5,000 acres and then 10,000 acres. And what's going to stop them from putting more solar panel farms out there? Pretty soon, you have no agriculture. You have no agriculture, you can't feed people. You can't feed people, you can't arm people. You can't have defense systems. How's the easiest way to take over something? You take away their ability to defend themselves, you take away their ability to feed themselves. Then they become slaves by default. That's what worries me.
And ultimately, as a country, that's what we're fighting. I mean, as sad as it is to say, I mean, that is what we are battling.
And if you look at these solar farm companies, you better look at who's behind the dollar besides who's registered the company.
Well, and that, you speaking of that, I don't know if y'all are fans of it or not. This week's most, and I, spoiler alert, this this week's most recent episode of Landman, you know, the son, I forget his name right off the top of my head, Cooper. You know, he he had a great idea. You know, drilling in places that had already been drilled, but knew they didn't go deep enough, and different things for oil. And he, you know, reached out to this investor to help him gather the money to drill the holes and all that. And come to find out, leader of the cartel is who he invested with. And now by no means am I saying that these companies are the cartel. I mean, absolutely not even close.
Well,
but it's like you're dealing with the devil here, and you don't even realize it, because that dollar seems too good to be true that they're offering or that they're providing. And if you own the land, yeah, they are providing you with it. But as far as the other thousands of taxpayers within the county or the local, you know, areas, they're not seeing any benefit from it. They're only seeing the damage that it's caused.
Well, I made a post on Facebook, and I generally don't make a ton of posts, usually just forward stuff or sports related. But I made a post on Facebook about the solar farms and how I felt about them and whatnot. And a friend of mine came back and said, well, I know some people in Brunswick, local area town around us, that said, I know that the farmers who sold the land or are leasing the land for the solar panel farms aren't complaining about the money. And, you know, I thought about that and the way that the farmers are severely underpaid for what they do. And I thought to myself, well, you know, he does have a point. The farmer's able to take care of his family. But then I thought, it's not necessarily about the money. It's about stewardship of the land and how to take care of our people. We rely on farmers, and we don't give them enough credit for what they do. And we sure as heck don't give them enough money for what they do. But then again, with money, sometimes it ain't always the grass is greener on the other side. You might want to check that fertilizer.
There ain't no doubt about that. And, you know, I think that's what a lot of people in today's time, and I still got this cough, excuse me. But in today's time, a lot of people get caught up in that now. What am I being afforded, or what am I being given now? They don't take the time to sit back, you know, like me or you would, and analyze the long-term effects of the decisions that they're making. You know, especially just say that you're a landowner and you're selling this land to some big solar company. You got children.
Yeah.
You know, 20 years from now, your children may not have anything to fall back on, because, you know, no telling what could happen between now and then. But You know, if you had that land, those children always have that land.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll always have that.
That's right.
Especially these local communities that we're from. I mean, that's something that you don't take for granted. When somebody passes down 200, 300 acres to you, you don't let that go.
No, I mean,
you don't forget about that.
And what a lot of people fail to realize is land is one of those resources that's non-renewable. There's only so much. It's a finite resource. And so once you run out, you're out.
And you know, we talk all the time about fossil fuels or you know, all these forms of energy that are non-renewable. A lot of people fail to realize that land is non-renewable. Once it's gone, once it's used, you can't get it back.
Yeah, I mean, everything has a cost. I remember I had an economics teacher in high school. She used to relate this thing to us called Tonstoffel. Stands for there ain't no such thing as a free lunch. Nothing is free. Everything has a cost associated to it.
You may not see it now, or you may not be affected by that cost, but eventually there is a cost.
Mm-hmm. That is true. And sometimes that cost can't be seen for a while, but it will always come calling.
And with that being said, guys, I want to just take a moment to pause and tell you, for those of y'all that are listening, you know, reach out to us if you got any questions or comments, or even if you disagree with what we're saying. You know, reach out to us on Facebook, YouTube, wherever we post these streams to, and talk to us and let us know what your opinions are. We want to hear from y'all just as much as we're projecting out to y'all.
Yeah, we like to learn new perspectives, and you never know, you might have something that could enlighten us.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own opinion. Everybody's educated in their own way. You know, we just want to project what we think and what we see and how we analyze things, and learn from you guys, our subscribers, our viewers as well. So, you know, anything that you can do to talk back to us or communicate with us, you know, that's a great point for us. That's a great moving forward point, and that's really what we thrive on.
We love to see other people's reactions and comments. Helps give us stuff to talk about. And if you have suggestions for future episodes, topics, please drop us a comment.
And, you know, starting out this podcast, it's been a lot different than what I expected. You know, I kind of felt like that it was a little bit difficult, or it would be a little bit difficult trying to so-called follow a script and all that. But once we get out here talking, man, time flies.
It does. And, you know, it's one of those things where it's we're having a conversation and we're just including you guys. So, and, you know, if you're sitting around chatting with a friend, talking with a friend, time is not a construct that you usually follow.
And I mean, like, going back to our sports theme, you know, once we get done here, we got chicken wings on the smoker right now. We fix to go in there. We're gonna watch some Texas A&M. Hopefully, Texas gets their butts whooped, because I can't stand Texas. But you know, that's just something that, you know, we're just average, everyday people, you know, and we like to have these conversations and talk about these things. We talk about it, text about it all throughout the week. You know, any moment we can, we talk about a wide variety of things, and how they're pertinent to us. And how, you know, most people don't think that it's relevant to them, but at the end of the day, it actually is.
Yep. One thing I wanted to do was a new little segment that we talked about. Don't really have a name for it. We're going to kind of call it Out of the Ashes. We're going to bring some memories back, some good ones, some bad ones, some funny ones, but things that we will always remember. One of the things that I remember is we used to do a lot of rabbit hunting and running rabbits with beagles. That was our passion for quite a while. Well, one night we were over at a Beagle Club that we were members of. At night we were running some dogs, riding around on a Ranger. You know, just being guys, hanging out. Had a fire, of course. And me and myself, I'm not always the most observant. Gregory and another friend of ours was up front, and I was sitting in the back seat. And we were running around one of the sides of the pen and looking for dogs. And I had gotten out, tried to call them, and unbeknownst to me, Gregory and our other friend decided to play a little joke on me. I'm a good sport. And I just kept getting a whiff of something that was just heinous. Oh, it was vile. Turned my stomach. I looked at them and I said, guys, is one of these dogs sick, or y'all sick, or what? Hey,
Just to be clear, that's not exactly what he said.
This is a family podcast, sir. And at the time, I didn't think anything of it, but I just kept getting a whiff of it, and it was bad. It was so bad. And I was retching, and they were laughing, and they were like, yeah, we don't know what it is. And I knew something was up just as sure as I'm sitting here. Well, come to find out, Mr. Turner here had decided to purchase a bottle of fart spray. You've seen the TikToks, you've seen the reels, you've seen them all where they spray them in the costume and the people nearly kill themselves trying to get away from it. It was the same stuff. If I
sprayed it all over the dog box, all
it was
over
everywhere.
the Ranger, everything.
It was everywhere. And how it didn't affect them, I still don't know. I think they plugged their nose or something, but it was the worst.
And we sat there for 15 minutes, or not even 15 minutes, it was like 5, trying to figure out how he had not said anything yet. Because he did go for a while without saying anything.
I mean, I kind of figured it was one of the dogs, and it's just part of being around dogs. But at the end of the episode, when I found out what they did, I was beside myself, aggravated, because it was so bad. And I can still smell it to this day, and that was 7, 8, 10 years ago.
I mean, we're literally sitting at the front seat of the buggy gagging and laughing and crying at the same time because we are literally laughing so hard.
So guys, if you have stories like this, feel free to put them in the comments. We'll read them on air. It makes that bonding with your friends something to remember. And I'm sure we'll have more memories of stuff like this later on in future episodes. It's one of those things you sit around and talk. The funny times always come up. But it was funnier for them than it was me. It's still funny for them. But yeah, it's one of those things I'll never forget.
And while we have so many different memories that we can fall back on, I mean, we have death ball, we have the mouse traps in the sleeping bags. I mean, we have so many things that we can fall back on. One of the things that I want to talk about or add in, and this might possibly be literally the worst moment of my life. I don't even remember the town that we was at. We was going to Eufaula or coming home from Eufaula. I don't remember. And we stopped off at a Zaxby somewhere. I don't know if we stopped at Albany or where we stopped at.
I can't remember.
But we all, we had just discovered that hot honey mustard at Zaxby's was the bomb. And we was all ordering the hot honey mustard wings and all of that. And I'm like, these are pretty good. We're tearing them up. They're not super hot. But then you sit there and, you got a little bit of heat to them. And we're sitting there and we're being younger than what we are now. We're not very old now, but we were younger. And, we was like, oh, we're still hungry. This was right around the time that Zaxby's had come out with the birthday cake milkshakes. They are still the best tasting milkshakes that I have ever had in my life.
Nope.
But let me tell y'all what they did to us. The combination of the birthday cake milkshakes and the hot honey mustard was no bueno. Not good.
That was definitely not an equation that we wanted to solve.
I'm not a very big guy, okay? I'm kind of short, skinny, a little bit. Eddie here and our other buddy, we all kind of found ourselves in the same situation. About 20 minutes after we left at Zaxby's, we all had to go to the bathroom. And this wasn't hey, let's stop at the gas station, go to the bathroom. This was if we don't find a place to go right now, we about to be going to the dollar store and buying some diapers because we about to be doo-dooing ourselves.
Yeah.
It was bad. These stomach cramps were unbearable. I mean, literally unreal at how bad they were. And naturally, I'm the smaller guy. Got these two other guys over here. You know, they're both 6 foot. You know, older than me. One goes to the guys' bathroom. One goes to the girls' bathroom. By the time we found a place to stop at a CVS of all places, and you know, I'm trying my best to hold it. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Okay. And you know, you got one in the guys and one in the girls again, but it got to a point, you know, 2 or 3 minutes later, it might not even been 2 or 3 minutes, but it seemed like a whole lot more. I started beating on both of their doors. It wasn't either. It wasn't one or the other. I started beating on both of them because they was right across the hall from each other. And I finally told them, I said, look, I said, if one of y'all don't get out of that bathroom, I'm about to go in this janitor's closet right here, and I'm about to squat over this mop bucket because I've got to go. Like, I was in tears. I was hurting so bad.
He wasn't kidding.
And finally, of all places, somebody honking the horn on the highway. What's up? Finally, Eddie comes out of the women's bathroom because he's the one that went to women's.
Hey, I wasn't about to wait.
And you know, it was one of them. I can't wait either. And you know, the ultimate saying is the only thing worse than a cold toilet seat is a hot toilet seat, because that means somebody just got off of it. Well, as close as we are, you know, that's still kind of a little sketchy in a CVS, but that wasn't one of them you could just squat over. You had to full on sit down and grab the bars on the side over there, and you just had to let it go because it was so bad. To this day, I don't know if I've ever had a birthday cake milkshake since.
Oh, I won't.
But man, did them things taste so good though.
Well, you know, I felt bad for what we did to that bathroom.
Beating on the door, talking about if y'all don't go, somebody's fixing to quit because I'm going to doo-doo in the floor.
I really felt bad for the people, especially the women that were walking into the store after us, because I heard one of them say, I need to go use the restroom. And it was, let's get in the car and let's get out of town.
Yeah, you had to get out of there before they even saw you on surveillance camera.
Oh, yeah.
Because they called the law on us.
It was bad. It was Chernobyl all over again.
Yeah, that put a whole new meaning on blow the bathroom up. I mean, a whole new meaning.
Well, as fun as the story's been, I still remember the pain. So let's get off of that throne too.
Man, that was rough right there. I mean, oh man, that was bad.
Yeah. Well, guys, been another fun evening, another great episode. We look forward to comments. We look forward to new subscribers. Drop us a line in the chat. Drop us a comment. Let us know what you think we should talk about next. So
we're here for y'all. You know, like I said, we're two guys. We're just having fun. We're enjoying the moment. Anything y'all need, you know, anything y'all want us to cover, talk about, let us know. We're here.
Yeah. So for Gregory, I'm Eddie. This is Two Guys in a Fire Pit. See you next time.
We out.